Hey, welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking about whether you should be using shared leads versus your own leads within your flooring company. Now, this is definitely a debate, I guess you could say, maybe amongst you different flooring companies and also like marketing people on whether, which one works best over the other. So I'm just going to be laying out very transparently like what I've seen with these couple of different ways you can get leads because, we work with a lot of different flooring companies. So we're able to hear a lot of feedback in terms of what is working, especially on the shared leads side of things. We get definitely, I get a lot of insight as to like what makes it work, why people hate it, things like that. And then I'll kind of get into also what are the benefits, maybe what are some of the cons of generating your own leads. Because there's definitely pros and cons to both. I'm not going to sit here and say like one is totally, absolutely 1000% better than the other one. That's just not the reality. There's a lot of different things you can do to market your flooring company. And so I'm just going to be laying out different things that you can just process and think about. Like, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to try and make a decision for you or anything for your company, but use this information I'm about to share to make that decision on what you should be doing. So to kind of dive in here. So first, talking about shared leads. So this is going to be your Home Advisor, your Angie, Thumbtack, CraftJack. I'm sure there's like 5 other ones I'm not naming, but Angie, Home Advisor, and Thumbtack are definitely the big 3. And what's so interesting is that I talk to a lot of different flooring companies every day, and I would say about 80%, maybe more, just genuinely do not like those platforms. That is not me trying to say like they are a bad platform or anything, but that's just me sharing what the data is. There are a lot of people, and maybe you watching this video or listening in, like maybe you feel that way about those platforms. And if you do, I'm going to go over just kind of maybe some things you already know, but also just some insight that could be helpful if you do want to use those platforms. So again, a lot of people have just not liked it. It hasn't worked for them, but there are definitely a few people, maybe 20% of people that do make it work, and it is very profitable for them. And it does work. So kind of the first point here is if you want to use shared leads, like you can sign up for those platforms very easily, pretty fast. You just pay a monthly fee or like a per lead basis, and you're going to get fast inbound leads, right? So like if you sign up for Angie, you're probably going to get a lead in the next day or 2. I don't know how fast the process is. I've never used them. But you sign up and they're inbound leads, right? So that is kind of one of the pros is that, Angie, they are using Google Ads and, they're using SEO to get these leads, which is what you can do. And I will talk about that here in a second. So for example, like if a homeowner is wanting flooring done in their home or finishing whatever it is, they're going to go on Google, they're going to search flooring company near me, floor installer near me, whatever it is. Dallas, put city name, whatever they do there. And so Angie or Home Advisor or Thumbtack, they will run Google Ads to where they're at the very top, or they rank high in SEO and people click on that and they're trusted brands, right? People know Home Advisor, they know Angie. So they're going to click on it, they're going to go through the survey process and they're going to say what they need for the job, whatever, yada, yada. And then you get the lead, right? With other contractors that get it. So they're fast inbound leads, which is a pro. Like for sure. If you're just needing leads quick and relatively cheaply, I think it's a great option for you. Now the con kind of here, the second point is that they're shared with 5 to 10 other contractors. I know Thumbtack maybe only does 3 or 4. So I've heard like they're one of the better ones on that. But they're shared, right? Like, so if you're going to get a lead, there are 3 to 7, maybe more other people that are getting that same exact lead. So you're automatically having to be very, very fast, very efficient with your follow-up, which I'll get into on the next point here. But it's just a lot of speed involved, and you just have to be on the ball all the time, or else these leads are not going to convert. That's just the reality of it. So they're shared leads. Kind of next here is that, but it can definitely work though with a really solid back-end process. So what I mean is I think most of the people that say they're frustrated and do not like those platforms like Angie, Home Advisor, Thumbtack, is because they just don't have a great back-end follow-up sales process. Because, like I said in the previous point, you're getting these fast inbound leads, but so are 5 other people or 10 other people, right? So they're having to do the same things you are. So you have to be able to follow up within 2 to 5 minutes. That's very fast, whether that's a text, email, call, or all the above. Now, most contractors, most flooring companies don't have a process like that, which is why I think 80% of them do not enjoy those platforms or see fruit from those platforms or profits. But the ones that do make it work, they have this third point in common. They have a call center, right, that maybe calls the leads immediately once they come in. They have automatic text or emails that go out. Like they have automation set up to where, like, the leads are going to get a text and an email to book an appointment. That's very advantageous compared to someone that doesn't have those processes. You don't even have to have a call center. You don't have to have auto text and stuff like that. If you're just really good about picking up your phone and seeing notifications all the time and following up, you can do it that way too. But the ones I've seen it work well on are the companies that have that back-end, repeatable, duplicatable sales process. Okay, and so that's something that you got to think about if you're going to be using these platforms. Is if you just want leads coming in, sure, you're going to get that, but you're going to be very frustrated at the conversion rate of those leads because your back-end process sucks. So that's another video for another time or another conversation on how to have a good sales process there, but you have to be able to follow up fast. That's kind of the ball game here. And kind of this next point is you're taking the chance of getting leads, on stuff that you don't do, like because of the non-specific targeting. So like you can easily, I hear it all the time, again, from the crowd that's more unsatisfied with the platforms, that if you're a flooring company that does vinyl floor installation, laminate, carpet, refinishing, whatever, they're like, hey, I got a cabinet lead, or I got a bathroom remodeling lead, or a painting lead, or whatever, which is very, very common on those platforms, because when you sign up, you kind of say what kind of business you are, what category, but there's not a really solid like filtering process for those services that come in. So it's like, it's not going to be your jobs that you do every single time. That's one thing to think about too. And the last one, which I think is honestly one of the most important in my opinion, is that none of the leads you get from these platforms are coming to you because of you and your brand. They just happen to get you as the company because they went through Angie, Home Advisor, Thumbtack, whoever it was. You just happen to get the lead information. All you got was a name, a phone number, an email, maybe what they wanted for the project, right? Like they didn't come to you because of you. Now, when you're looking to build a long-term good brand for your flooring company, that's one thing you got to have. You got to build brand. That's the biggest thing. You don't just want to rely on these shared lead platforms all the time, consistently, forever, because you're building no brand. You're just buying these leads, right? So that's maybe another point I could add here is that it's a good short term way to get leads. So that's one thing to think about. It's not the greatest long-term strategy, but again, if it works for you, go for it. So that's kind of the share leads. I'll kind of hop in here pretty quickly to generating your own leads. So I'll move this out of the way here so you can look at both as I'm doing this. So the first one is, if you're generating your own leads, you're going to own the system. Like you're not dependent on other platforms. You control it, right? So like if you want a certain amount of leads coming in, if you want to change where you're targeting, what locations, if you want to change the keywords, if you want to change the services, if you just want to dial back on vinyl flooring this month, you just want hardwood or laminate, you can do that. If you want to, you're able to change the way people perceive your company, which is branding, right? So you're able to put out different types of content. You're able to put out different videos, images, different offers, creative, just things like that you have to build a long-term sustainable flooring business or any kind of business, right? You can't just rely on these, paid leads all the time, these shared, fast leads. So you're going to own the system, which is one of the most powerful things. If you can own and control your marketing, you control how much you grow your business. That's the reality. And so the second thing is, and kind of along that same point is, you can be Angie and Home Advisor because you can use the same strategy that they use. This is the kicker. This is the secret. There's my dogs barking in the background. But this is the secret, is that they're using these platforms like Google, for example. Like they're using Google ads. They're ranking high with their search engine optimization, ranking organically high. And so that's how they get these leads. And then they send them to you and 5 of their contractors. So you're able to use the same strategy. You can do Google ads. You can do your own SEO, right? Like that's all they're using for getting these leads. So you can do the same thing. So it's very, very effective. And the third point here is that these leads are just for you, because it's of you and your brand, right? So if somebody sees you through a Google ad, or they, see you through Facebook or social, like other social platforms, through your website, like they're going to be coming to you as a lead because they like your brand. They like you. They saw your reviews. They saw your copy, your headline, your offer, whatever. And so it's way better, like I said, for long-term sustainable brand building. And also, like, people just like to buy from businesses they know and they trust. So if you just happen to be the lead that they get off of Angie, Home Advisor, Thumbtack, it's just going to be harder to convert those leads. It's just way easier to convert leads that know you and they trust you. Next is it can be more expensive. That's kind of a con, which is why most flooring companies, I think, opt out of this route, especially if you're like kind of a smaller, maybe 1, 2, 3-man crew, don't have a big budget or whatever it is. Totally understandable. So like, maybe the shared leads route is going to be a better option for you because it's just a little bit cheaper. Like you can do, I think, Angie ads or something for like $400 or $500 a month, and get, a decent amount of leads coming in. Just something to have some lead flow. I know, so you can also pay per lead. You can kind of set a budget. They get you leads. It's just kind of easier to just get a couple leads coming in, right? With your own leads, like if you're going to be running Google ads, if you're going to be running Facebook, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, doing your own SEO, building a website, trying to rank it organically, software, just things like that. Those things are more expensive. Like if you're going to hire a marketing agency to like grow your flooring company through those different avenues, like what my company does, then it's just going to be more expensive than what you're going to pay with Angie and Home Advisor. Like it's going to be at least $1,000, $2,000 a month, if not more than that. That's just the reality, and that's what it costs to build a brand. That's what it costs to like build a sustainable business that grows your business. Like that's you're just going to have to invest money to do that. There's just no getting around that. So that's one of the cons. But a couple last things here is that you can be very specific in the targeting, kind of like what I said earlier. So like if you wanted vinyl flooring, hardwood flooring, if you wanted refinishing jobs, laminate, whatever it is, if you do sales and installation or just sales, you just do installation, you can specify that in your targeting. You can specify that in your copy and in your headlines and your creative on your website, all this different stuff, right? As opposed to when you're just buying leads, you're just going to get whatever comes in on that day. So that's a very, very important thing to go over as well. And you can scale this stuff very effectively. And it can, like, again, it goes back to the first point. You control the system. So if you control the system, you control your own growth, which is so powerful and priceless. So if you're getting, booked jobs or flooring customers for, let's say, a $500 cost per acquisition, and your average ticket's $5,000, you're 10xing what you invested, then you can just put more money into the machine that's already working and you can scale your business. So if you're putting in $1,000 a month into ads or whatever, and you're getting, let's call it 2 jobs a month, that's paying well more than your ad spend, then you can put 3,000 in and you can get 6 jobs, right? The numbers don't always work out that perfectly, right? But just kind of giving you an idea of what it's supposed to look like. So that's kind of what it looks like to generate your own leads. And in my opinion, I think if you're a newer business, it can be advantageous to do the shared leads route just to get some lead flow coming in. Now, however, on the own leads thing, you can find some ways like Facebook advertising. It can be very cost effective. It can be a lot cheaper than some other routes like Google ads and SEO and things like that. That can also get you like your own leads coming in at about the same cost, if not cheaper, than using the shared lead platforms. So if you're a newer business, or if you have a really, really solid back-end process, call center, follow-up systems, like you're just really good at all that kind of stuff and you can make it work, I think it's a really solid route to go. I think only some businesses should do this. I think only about 20% of businesses should do this, maybe 30. I think every single business should do this because if you are actually trying to build a legitimate flooring company and one that's sustainable and long-lasting and is around for decades, if you're just doing this for a few years, then maybe you don't have to do this. But if you just want a good, solid company, you have to build your own brand. You just have to. There's no getting around that. You have to generate your own leads. You have to build brand. So That I think every single business should do that. Every single business is not doing that. I know that because I talk to a lot of them every day. But again, like, just to rehash that point, like, you have to build brand. You have to own the system, because that's what's going to control your growth. So that's pretty much it for this. We got our website down below in descriptions and things like that. If you have any more questions on that, feel free to book a call with me, or shoot us a message on our website, or shoot me an email. And would love to just kind of hash this out with you if you have any more questions or whatever it is. But if not, we'll see you in the next one.